Today we are going to talk about Makeup Revolution's Ultra Eye Contour Light and Shade Palette. We are going to find out if it's enlightening or shady.
And for the giveaway, now you just need to watch the rest of the video for that.
To give you a little background, Makeup Revolution is a London-based brand and it is known for, you can say, duping or actually copying well-known brands and palettes. They have pretty much everything from the chocolate bar palettes to dupes of the naked palettes, and this is supposed to be the Kat Von D Shade and Light palettes copy. And recently there has been a bit of drama about Kat Von D getting annoyed by this copy, and she recently came out with her own video because a lot of people thought that it was unnecessary for her to get annoyed, which I kind of agree with. But at the same time, the way she explained how much effort she put into making that palette and coming up with the artwork for the palette and the concept and everything, as an artist I can understand how she's attached, you know, to that palette. So for her it's a big deal. But I feel like only those who never ever plan to actually purchase the Shade and Light palette would ever go and buy this, because if you're a fan of the Kat Von D formulas, you would never even think of going for a duplicate palette, right? Because honestly, if I can afford it, I'll go for the better known brand. And if I can't afford, then I wouldn't have bought that anyways. Just like the Shade and Light palette, this one comes with 3 quads, 2 daytime quads. One is cool tone, one is warm tone, and one is sort of like a smoky eye quad, you can say.
Each of the quad has an all-over shade or a base, a crease shade, a definer or outer corner shade, and a highlighter or brow bone shade. The palette comes with a dual-ended brush. It has a fluffy side and a flat side. What I'm missing though is a mirror, which is usually included with most Makeup Revolution palettes. I'm going to prime my lids with Makeup Revolution's Aqua Seal Primer and Sealer. This has a very thin texture and just gets absorbed in your skin really quickly. As usual, I'll be cleaning my brushes with the Clean Sweep Dupe so my brushes will not be wet. Starting with the very first quad, which is the cool tone one, I'm sweeping the lightest shade all over the lid and even the brow bone to set the primer. The second to the lightest shade or the crease shade is applied just above my crease because I have hooded eyes, and also in the outer corner. The darkest shade or definer shade, I'm going to apply that just under my crease and in the outer 7 as I call it. I apply the highlighter shade just under the brows, and then I go back to the darkest shade or the definer shade and line my upper lids and smudge it under the lower lash line. Moving on to the second quad, I clean my previous shadow application with e.l.f. cleansing cloths and reprime my eyes with the Makeup Revolution Eye Primer. Just like the first quad, I applied the beige shade all over the lid to set the primer. Apply the crease shade just above my crease and in the outer corner. And then apply the definer shade in my outer corner in an inverted 7 and slightly drag it inwards in my crease. Then I blend everything out with a fluffy brush, just like last time, but this time I'm even more diligent because the definer shade in this case is black. After that, I go back in and apply a little bit more of the definer shade wherever I feel it's needed. I apply the highlighter shade just under my brows, and then I also pat it at the center of my lid, and finally I go back in with the definer shade to line my upper lid and smudge it out under my lower lid. I cleaned and primed my lids and followed the same steps using corresponding shades from the third quad. So now if we compare the three looks to my natural eyes, you can see that the difference is very subtle.
And it's been over 10 hours.
You can see that there is a little bit of creasing, so I don't really recommend this primer, but the shadows have stayed put.
So if you ask me, I see myself using only the last quad, which is the warm tone quad. And then I might dip into like two of these, like the black and the darker brown once in a while and switch up. But for my particular skin tone, let me swatch for you guys, like 1, 2, 3. And this might be slightly different, so let me just leave it at that. Like these 3 shades, right? They're so slightly different, you know? Same way, like 1, 2, and even maybe this. This is probably a little bit darker. But between like this and this, I could have just done with 1, right? I could have used any of these other 2 as the base color. So I'm gonna swatch this first one, this middle one, and then these 2. So again, can you see, like for dark skin tones, it doesn't really have that much impact. If you are really light, maybe, you know, all of these will show up as very, very different on you. But for me personally, yeah, it doesn't make much difference. I don't own the Shade and Light palette, and I never plan to own it. But I just thought that when somebody explained the concept that it just gives you these like basic shades, that maybe I could, you know, try this one out. So it was a good option for me to try out. And after trying this, I have realized that it doesn't really excite me that much. I'm not a person who wears eyeshadows or any makeup for that sort with the focus on beauty. I'm never thinking beauty when I'm putting makeup on. I'm always thinking colors and art almost. So this is very good if you are a regular eyeshadow wearer, and if you just, you know, want like some very basic looks and you work in this like very professional environment where I need to look kind of polished but understated in terms of makeup and all that. This might be good for you because it does give you quite a few basic looks, but at the same time, I think the same looks can be achieved with the e.l.f. Matte for Matte palette. Now, if I have to give you a comparison, you know, I'm trying to kind of put shades where they, and actually I ended up putting it wrong, but let's just leave it at that for now. So these are the shades from the Matte for Matte palette. You know, the Matte for Matte retails for $10. The Light and Shade palette from Makeup Revolution retails for $15. In terms of the lighter shades, I think that there is a slight more variety. Like I have a more warmer, like light brown, a more pinkish brown, and then this is like a straight on pink. So if you're like very light skin, this will show up as pink on you. For me, it just shows up at white. This is kind of a beigey white. Yeah, for me, so yeah, I personally like the variety, you can say, that I get in the Matte for Matte palette as opposed to this. This is not a bad palette, I have to say. This is not a bad palette. That's not what I'm saying. But this is for a person who does makeup as a basic need. You know, like how you just put on foundation. There's no sort of fun in foundation. There is, I think there is, but it's not like you're going for a pink foundation or a green foundation, right? So it's for a person like that. And for them, I think this is a good enough palette. One more thing I should mention, Ulta is the only one who sells these in United States. And there is a sticker that says new talc-free formula on top. And I have seen videos where palettes are talc-free, but this particular one, the one that is available through Ulta, lists talc is the second ingredient. And even on the Ulta website, even though it says talc-free in the picture, when they list the ingredients, they actually list the ingredients that are on the back, which is, you know, the second ingredient is talc. So I contacted Ulta and they offered to send me replacement palettes, and even those had the same thing happening. So I pretty much, you know, I called them and I told them that I'm not sure what's going on, because I have seen videos where the palette is actually talc free and this one is not. When I informed the person at the store after these palettes became available in the store, the manager just asked them to remove this talc free stickers from top, because if there is a person who is allergic to talc would have a reaction. And so the associate in the store just ended up removing these stickers in front of me. The next time I was at the store, there was, I guess they got some reshipments and the sticker was still there. Anyhow, in terms of formula, the shades tend to be slightly more powdery. Let me see if you can see that, as compared to the matte for matte. But they are nicely pigmented. They're not chalky or anything. They show up nicely. I have been wearing this look for over 10 hours and I don't think it has faded much, which is really great. The palette itself comes with a dual-ended brush, and even though it's pretty small, the fluffy side is small, it's good for the crease, and the flat side is good for kind of packing on the color or like going precisely under the brows. It only costs $15. Ulta sometimes has a sale, you know, buy one get one free, buy one get one 50% off and such, so you can save on that. I personally had the Fortune Favors the Brave palette and the Mermaid palette, which I was really excited about because they were the actual colorful and kind of shimmery glittery palettes. But I probably was allergic to that formula. I started getting like really itchy around my inner corners, and I ended up returning both the palettes. I actually feel bad returning product that is used, because then I know Ulta throws them away. But you know, what can I do? I didn't want to hold on to those because I just would have never been able to use them, and I didn't want to pass on used product. Which brings us to the giveaway. I have ended up with a second palette, which I have no use for. And initially I thought I would probably just offer it to my family, but most of my family are kind of my skin tone, so I wasn't sure if they would be interested. So I thought, why not offer it to my YouTube family? So if you're interested, please be subscribed to my channel. Be subscribed to my Instagram. The link would be down in the description box. And just comment below this video and comment below the picture in my Instagram. I would be posting a picture of this and you will be entered. Now, along with getting a second palette, I ordered their new golden strobing highlighter in Gold Addict, and when it arrived completely shattered. I contacted the customer service and they offered to send me a second one, which was great, but even that one came completely shattered. So now I have these two super broken highlighters, which are exactly the same and I have no use for. I'm going to kind of crush up one and try to repress it, but the second one I have decided to give away. So if you're interested in this, then let me know in the comments below as well. Let me know if you're interested in both the items, if you're interested in just the palette or just the highlighter, and you have the option for that I can just ship it as is You know, it's kind of shattered. I don't know if you can see that. I can just ship it as is and then you can repress it yourself, or I can repress it for you and then send it to you. But in that case, I would have broken the seal, so just know that. But let me know what you would like and I would accordingly send it to you. And yeah, so let's just do that. I have never done this before, so I'm kind of confused. But we're gonna do this. I hope one of you enjoys either one or both of these products, and if you win them, I would love to hear how you are enjoying it, what your views are about this palette. If you are a YouTuber, I would love for you to make a video about this palette and the highlighter if you want, and you know, that way I would really get to enjoy it. I love giving gifts, and more than giving gifts, I enjoy watching the reaction of the person who receives them. So I would highly appreciate it if you guys can send me your reactions. All right? And then thanks again for watching. Bye.